Hello, beautiful people. My name is Mark Needham, and you may have seen me on here before. I did a couple videos on this channel, but today I'm starting a new chapter. The last couple years have been difficult, to say the least, and with my content that I'd done on TikTok and YouTube channels before, I was focusing on all those difficult topics. As a result, I basically got all of my viewership shadowed, and I was doing pretty well, but I started to talk about things that certain folks don't want you to hear about. But I still want to make content, and I started to really scan myself for what I could talk about that isn't so controversial, that won't get shadow banned or whatever, but that's really ultimately important. And I wanted to talk about something that could possibly solve all of these issues, whether it be issues with climate, the poke, whatever it is, tyranny, the global situation. We all know what we're talking about here. If there was one thing I could talk about that might be able to provide the solution to all those things, what is it? And that answer was quite simple for me, and that is God. Now, everyone has, I think, a little different relationship and understanding of what God is. I've studied alchemy, Christianity, Buddhism, astrology, you name it, I've been there, unless it was some of that dark stuff. I don't deal with the dark stuff, I don't deal with hurting people. But everything else I studied. And through all those, all that adventuring and journeying into the spiritual realm, into the psychological realm of my mind, I came to one conclusion, and that is faith in a higher power. And faith in people who are created by that higher power is the absolute only thing that can save us now. And so I want to start a new chapter on this channel, essentially be called Getting Closer to God, where I'll do short videos that give you techniques and teachings that will help you to develop your relationship with God, get back to source, get back to center, and possibly find some peace, harmony, stability, faith and hope for the future, and love for your neighbor and for God, of course. Those first two commandments of, loving God and then loving your neighbor as you would love God. The reason those things are stressed so much by God is because those two fundamental beliefs and positions are what create harmonious and resilient structure within our world, within our human world. And we've lost that. The world is falling apart precisely because we don't have love and reverence for creation and creator, and we don't have love and reverence for each other as divine manifestations and creations of that creator. So these videos will begin to do step-by-step short videos, simple topics, how to get back with God, right? How to find harmony in yourself and how to hear that voice again in very troubling times that seem to only be getting more troubling as time goes on. So today, a short one, just what I think would be probably the best first step for anyone. A lot of us are stressed out. A lot of us can't seem to think one thought at once or clear the mind when we don't want to be thinking thoughts. We often use medications and drugs and the phones and television and distractions just to sort of create something like a quiet. But of course, doing all those things, we're inputting still. It's not that we're quiet, it's that maybe we're numb to the noise. I've found that there is a very nice technique that will actually help you quiet your mind. It's one of the most difficult things I've tried to do, especially in the last 2 years, which have been almost impossible to stay calm and just be centered with myself. But it's what I call the heart meditation. In the Bible it says, do not lean on your own understanding, right? Now this can be taken a bunch of different ways, right? But I don't think God meant don't lean on your understanding when you're driving your car, right? I don't think he literally was like, Jesus, take the wheel, you take your hands off and let him drive. Obviously you're leaning on your own understanding to drive a car. What I think God meant was leaning on your own understanding when you're struggling deeply with bigger things, right? With your stress about bills, with your falling faith, with your fear of where the world's going, with your anger, with other people and other situations in the world, whatever it is, this is where leaning on our understanding just becomes a trap and a pit, because we just think ourselves in circles. Because as everyone knows here, it just seems like a new problem is introduced every day, but never a solution. And so it has our brains spinning. Our brains can't handle it. Our brains can't work it out, but our hearts can. It's a very simple practice. You just sit down or just get in any relaxing position. It doesn't quite matter. You could lay down, sit down. You could stand up and walk if you like. And you're just going to start taking a few deep breaths. Try it now if you'd like. And I want you to feel your consciousness, or your thoughts, your mind, right? Your psychological being. Where is it? I would guess you're probably saying somewhere here behind the eyes. It's in your head, you would think, right? You just kind of imagine it to be there, whether you're conditioned or whether, I don't know, maybe there's energy that focuses there. I want you to take another deep breath and imagine that you literally get out of your own head and bring your mind, your being, your identity, your consciousness down to your heart. I want you to, as you feel it falling down, however long it takes, might happen instantly, might need some time, like an elevator going down flights. Continue taking breaths till you get there. Once you get there, you'll know it, because you'll feel like your head just got a little lighter, and you'll feel as if you're viewing everything from your heart, like not so much from your eyes. You're still seeing from your eyes, but you can almost feel the transfer of information around you is coming from right here at the heart. Now, as you're doing this and breathing and staying there, you'll want to jump back up. Lightly, relaxingly, just bring it back down. You may start to feel emotions, anger, sadness. What I want you to do in this moment is continue taking those deep breaths. And as you feel those emotions that are uncomfortable, pray to God. Be like, Lord, please help me as I work through this. Help me to understand what this feeling is and what it means. And help me to resolve it so that I can feel peace within you. Very simple. That's all there is to it. Try to stay there as long as you can. And then if you need to go do the dishes or whatever, let your consciousness will go right back to your head automatically, where it's been conditioned to be. But whenever you get a chance, you're just relaxing, you're getting out of work, everything's settled, you just had dinner, everything's cool, give it a shot. Give it 5 minutes. Give it 1 minute if that's all you can give it. Give it 10 if you can go that far. And you'll see, as you begin to do this and do this more and more every day, you will start to feel more peace. And what's amazing, if you really genuinely start thinking about developing a better relationship with God again, you will hear Him. He will be there. You'll begin to have a dialogue, a voiceless dialogue. It's not really thoughts in your head. It's obviously not a physical voice, although that would be pretty cool, right? As long as you weren't going crazy. It's more of this, it feels like some sort of ancient language of our very biology. You'll feel it come in, and then it'll turn to words in your mind, but it comes through the heart first. I believe this is God speaking to you. Always have discernment with what's being felt intuitively, that language, but listen. If it feels good, if it feels like God, that most perfect, most loving, most strong, most just, you're probably making a connection with God. And that's going to be the very beginning of it. So, give it a shot and let me know in the comments what you think. Also, please, in the comments, if you have any questions or considerations for potential content, questions you've had about God, about religion, spirituality versus this versus that, whatever it is, let me know, because as I'll be doing things that I'm inspired to do on a day-to-day basis, I'm really excited to answer any questions that people would have. I mean, I'm not the expert or anything like that, but I've been around, I've studied a lot, I've listened to hours and hours of great men and women that are people of God, that have really given me a lot of wisdom, and I hope maybe I can pass that on in my own way as well. Lastly, if you find the kindness in your heart and you find that it it's not something that puts you and sets you back at all. I'm going to leave my Cash App in the comments. I'm not really very good at asking for stuff. It's always been hard for me, but maybe I've not done it enough. I'm in a pretty difficult situation at the moment. I left everything behind where I was because the culture, the society, the politics, the opportunity wasn't there. I lost practically everything and everyone I knew and loved. And currently living out of my car, trying to find a place to stay. Got myself a job here, which is nice, but it's kind of difficult to continue doing that without a place to stay. Any little bit means a lot, and in return, I'll continue to do this content, which will hopefully be helpful to people, and I'd be very gracious and grateful for any help you might pass on. God bless, and hopefully I'll be able to do a video tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day. Please leave the comments. Let me know what you'd be interested in hearing about, any questions, concerns, reasons that you may feel that you've been disconnected from God and you haven't been able to get back. Anything of that matter, I'd be happy to help. Have a great night. God bless.